So you've scrimped and saved and you busted your butt and you're finally at the age you're ready to retire. But is retirement truly a right, or is it just something you've been lucky enough to save money for and you can do now? I think it's something we need to talk about because with the environment changing the way it is, with the gig economies coming around, freelance work, those kinds of things are blurring the lines between what's truly retired and what is just kind of working part-time. We've even heard of this quiet quitting, and the kind of work, I think it's the same as where you quit working, but you still go into work. I see a lot of that every day. Not that I'm, accusing anybody. I'm just saying quiet quitting seems to be pretty real. What makes this a situation that's tricky, I think, is because with what we all are looking for is job security and then financial security when we quit that job. And that's a little tougher to do when the cost of living is going up all the time, healthcare is going up, and it makes retirement plans a lot harder. And it makes it a lot harder to make your money run and last as long as you'd like it to. Possibly even changes the way you wanted to retire. Maybe you can't afford to retire now. Maybe you have to work a little bit longer. Maybe you need to save a little bit more. Maybe you need to work part-time in retirement. And I think that's going to happen with a lot of people because we don't know what's going to come around the corner next. We've had a pretty rocky April. Stocks in the market have rebounded a bit coming into May. Everybody feels good again, feels like they have money. And then who knows what's going to be next. The housing costs are continuing to go up. Interest rates are back up above 7% again for home buyers at 30-year mortgages. Prices are still up despite the fact that the markets are starting to waver. The hot markets nowadays are actually getting killed. Florida, Arizona's prices are coming down. Texas is seeing a rebound in lower pricing because people still cannot afford to buy at these inflated costs and with inflated interest rates. It's hard to do both. When interest rates are down, prices go up because it becomes a buyer's market because the rates are low and affordable. They can afford more house, which then triggers it to be a seller's market and says, I can raise my prices because people can afford to buy more. So it's a double-edged sword no matter what you do. So where's the happy medium? Now, I do believe that we all have the right to make a decent living and then therefore retire with dignity and have a decent opportunity to retire. We shouldn't be burdened by the fact that we don't have income. And we shouldn't be burdened by the fact that the system now that we've paid into for years, 40 years or more, just because the job I'm at's only been 30, I've been working long before I get this job. We've been paying in for 30 and 40 years. That money may not be there like they promised us and told us it was going to be. We've given that money to people that never put into the system and didn't earn a dime of it. And I understand when we have situations where people cannot work because they have physical ailments or even some of the mental ailments. I'm not calling anybody out specifically. I also understand when there's situations where you just cannot work or there's not good jobs available and it's hard to get to a point where you can ever save to retire. Those folks, I understand, need help. When you retire and you have nothing to live on because your Social Security is so crappy, like the $2,000 a month, which is the average right now, $24,000 a year is barely poverty, if that. And if you're retired, yeah, your expenses go down, but your other expenses go up. Your cost of going to work goes down. Your cost of living at home goes way up, especially when you're looking at healthcare costs that constantly are on the way up. So I think part of the discussion is we have to accept the fact that not everybody will have the benefit to retire with any kind of dignity and real income. But that doesn't mean that most of us can't and that we're not going to strive to do that for everybody. And then we move on to those people that want to retire early. And there's a lot of great benefits to retiring early, for sure. You get improved health. While you're healthier, you get a chance to make your health even better by having time off. You get more personal fulfillment from it, and you get more leisure time. Who doesn't want that? I mean, every time that I get off work, I'm finding something leisure to do, whether it's going for a good walk or reading a book or watching TV. There's always something that you want to do that could be more fun than work, right? The old saying, even my worst day off is better than my best day at work. And I think that holds true for a lot of people. We may love our jobs. We may be good at them, but that doesn't mean we wouldn't rather have more time off to do what we want to do. And of course, that also leads to the downsides of early retirement. You got to worry about your financial security. You got to worry about the social isolation of it all. And you need to worry about if you have a loss of purpose. We've been drones for so long in the working job and working career that this is all we know. At least it is for me. And that's why even when I retire from this job and relocate permanent, I'm probably going to find something to do. But then again, doesn't that give me something with purpose? Doesn't that help my social economic situation? Doesn't that give me a social network to then work with again? It does. And I think people need to consider, doing part-time work, if nothing else, just to get some purpose back in their life and have something to get up and do in the morning. So even if that comes down to just working on you, going back to school, it doesn't mean you have to get a job. You can, donate your time and be involved in some community engagement, but pursue those hot button passions, the things you've been putting off. Whether you retire early or retire at 67, it's still your chance to do what you've always wanted to do. And hopefully you've got something kind of stored up in there, because, what they call it now is an encore career. It's your second coming, basically. You have another opportunity to do the things you didn't do the first time around. Now, it may not all be able and capable because of the physical limitations, but you're still an active, vibrant person. And as long as you keep your mind sharp and your body working, you can pretty much do whatever it is you want to do in your second act. So keep that kind of things in mind. Some thoughts to consider, because it really comes down to, is retirement a right or is it a privilege that we've earned? I think it's both. We've contributed to a system that's supposed to pay us back. We've saved so that we can have a decent living when we retire from work. And I think that we've earned that right. So appreciate your comments and your likes, and we'll see you next time.